What's up, babes? Making another video today. Today's on why part 3 of Jojo is the best part. Now, a couple things before I get too into this. I am making this video because part 6 is coming out here shortly in December. Everyone that likes part 3 loves part 7, so I expect to maybe change this opinion in the future with part 7 coming out, either in the anime or in the manga. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to wait. I don't want to wait till after part 6 for the part 7 anime because we waited too long between 5 and 6, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to read it as soon as I finish part 6 with the anime. I might even start reading it before finishing the end, but I feel like I owe it just to watch it for that. I know a lot of people wanted 6 to be skipped so that they could get straight into 7 animated because everyone loves 7. 8 just finished up. 9 was kind of leaked like Jojo Lands for part 9, which is interesting. I think that's the best way to end the trilogy of trilogies that Araki has going on here. So that's awesome. But today we're focusing on part 3 and why it's the best. First, and I'm going to be playing that music the whole time, is the music. I think the music is amazing. I don't think it is the best music of a part. I think part 4 might actually take the cake there, which is my least favorite part besides that. But the music in part 4 is very good. Now part 3 has great music, very good like suspenseful fight music, very good character themes, and just ambient music that kind of paints the scene for you, which I very much like. But what makes part 3 the best? Now, when I look at Jojo, and I remember asking my buddies this question, I said, well, like, what do you think of when you think of Jojo? And it's like manliness, and like kind of over the top shit. Crazy fights, blood and gore, and that's kind of what makes Jojo Jojo. And when I think about this part, I think it's the manliest part by far. Now, my second favorite part to date, because I'm only up to date in the anime, is part 5. And I love part 5, but it's not as manly. Now, we're looking at like kids a little bit more in that situation, but part 3 has the manliest men, and each of them have their own mission going into it and what they want to do in order to defeat Dio, which is the grand scheme of things. And Samus Aziz, I'm going to avenge this person. I need to save my daughter. I need to save my mom. I owe it to this man to save his mom. Everyone thinks Kakuin's in love with Jotaro's mom, which I actually don't believe. And I remember starting this part and I was like, this thing sucks because Jotaro calls his mom a bitch, and I'm like, dude, come on, like, what are you doing? But come to find out later, he's actually a sweetheart. He loves his mom. He's gonna save her. Abdal is just a dude who's always down to brawl, and Iggy, who you meet halfway through, is an awesome character. Now, it is pretty episodic in its approach, and I feel like that's a lot of the complaints that it gets. But what I like about it is it very much bonds you to the characters. And what really makes an anime or a part in Jojo, in my opinion, is the characters. Now, my favorite character, Polnareff, is... I think he's starred more than Jotaro for the most part, at least in like kind of the beginning sections. He has a lot of episodes just for him. The stands in this part are pretty creative. Now, this is when stands were first created in general, so there were definitely some kinks to work out, but I think for the most part they got it done pretty damn well. Once they land in Egypt, once they're halfway there, because the first half is pretty episodic, we're getting to know the characters, bond with them, and it's all cool and hunky-dory and everything's kind of normal. And then we hit Japan and things kind of start to shift a bit, where there's more stakes involved, there's harder enemies involved, and if they don't work together in a good way, then they're going to lose. And right off the bat, I mean, Kakuin is like put aside. Like, he's like, nope, you're not here anymore. Abdal has an episode where he dies, which a lot of people were upset that he came back. I was like kind of upset. I would have been more upset if the ending wasn't what it was, and kind of the biggest reason why I think part 3 is the best is because of the ending. I can watch the ending to part 3 tons and tons of times. It also has probably my favorite ending song, which is Last Train Home, which, believe it or not, we actually recreated that picture, me and my buddies. Now, you can't see it the best, but look. It's kind of sick. I'm Polnareff, looking good, but my buddy was leaving, and I was like, last train home, we're going to take this pic. It was his idea. We went to like the sand dunes, and it was sick. Printed out some pictures for it. It's kind of nice. Anyway, Kakuin being out of it, Abdal, everyone's missions coming to a climax at the very end, and some of the best fights, I think, in Jojo that you see. I think Pet Shop is another episode that I can, both those episodes, because it's a two-parter, is something that I can always watch. Is something that will never really get old to me. Is something that I think it's just super entertaining. It's two animals fighting with their stands that are being announced, and in this grandeur of epicness that these two animals are just fighting, and one like just bites off his leg, hiding underwater. What do? Biting off the beak. It's craziness. And that's not even the end. And then in the end, when people actually start dying, now I'm not gonna like spoil any, well, I might. When people start dying, that's when it gets like really sad, and you're like, wow, like you guys are actually sacrificing yourself for the greater good of everything going on. And then at the end, when everything's said and done, when they've defeated Dio, when they've lost plenty of men, and they're leaving, and they're at the airport, and it's just the three of them, that's touching. It's sad, it's like heartfelt, but it's mainly they accomplished the mission. And they understand that even the guys who died, they accomplished the mission. And it's the most manly thing in the world, because they understand that's what this was about. And if you have a mission that's worth dying for, that it's not a problem to give your life for that goal. And they did, and they saved Jotaro's mom, and everything moved on from that. And who knows where Jojo would have been if they did not defeat Dio. Now, people were very upset. I'm a Part 1 fan. I love my boy Jonathan. So watching them having to beat up his body, that Dio took over with his little head, it was kind of lame. It's kind of like lame to watch Part 3 and then go back and watch Part 1, and it's kind of like, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth, right? Because it's like, Jonathan did it, right? It's like, no, Dio's just broken. But it's good that his ancestor was able to do it, right? What I find hilarious about this Part 2 is Jotaro's dad. Who? Like, he's just I think he was like a fighter pilot in the World War, I think. And he was just nothing. Like he didn't get his own part and nothing. But Jotaro is also probably my favorite Jojo. Let me fact check that real quick. Yeah, and then my second favorite is probably Joseph. So it's like you get both of them in a single part. Of course, Joseph's kind of a little dumbed down too. So Part 1 and 2 kind of like almost take a step down to Part 3 just because of those simple facts, where it's like, well, Joseph was awesome in this part, and he's a lot different in this part. He's a grown-ass man. He has a daughter. He's different, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I think that given its episodicness that Part 3 gives you, it's not bad. It made me feel nostalgic. It actually was the only JoJo to really, well, besides maybe a little bit of Part 5, to make me like actually like feel. I was like, oh my god. Like when people were like dying at the very end, I was like, I remember my little brother, he made me wait. So they went and got food, and he made me wait on the episode where they're fighting, what's his name? Ice. I don't remember his name. The ice guy, where he's like killing everybody, and he's like his right hand man, like he's like very, very strong. And it looks like he killed Polnareff, which is my favorite character, and he makes me wait. So I'm just sitting there all upset. I'm like, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my god, he's not actually dead. But then that means a bunch of other things. And then where they go from there, the final fight with Dio is amazing. I think it's super epic. It has the world, which I think is like a super cool, understandable power. Now, some things about Part 5, I don't want to shit on Part 5 too much. I'm repping the shirt, obviously. But at the end, things get a little too batshit crazy. Now, I think what the beauty of Part 3 is nothing was like impossible to understand. Nothing was like out of the reach of grasping. Like, it was very simple in that time. And that's kind of what I love about it. A lot of people gave up on Part 3 just because it had stands. And stands were kind of weird to me at first too. But like once you get to understand what it is, it's just like more epic fighting. You take the damage of your stand. It's really well done. And I really respect Araki as a mangaka and as an author of this story. Now, as mangaka can be a little tough to understand, tough to read through, but I think he really killed it with Part 3. Now, I need to get to Part 7 because I hear Part 7 is like everyone's favorite. So we'll see if that changes, but Part 3 will always have a special place in my heart. Too many great characters, great English and dubbed and subbed. It's great both ways. I just love the adventure. I love the hero's journey, and I love that they were able to do it all together. All the crazy stuff they had to go through gambling, through being in a submarine, through resisting the wooing of women. It's just manly. It's awesome. I love to see it. Stands were great. They were simple, especially for the main characters, which made it great. And too many memorable fights. So go watch part 3. If you already have, do it again. If you haven't, please go do it. But we're done. Like and subscribe if you can. Comment. Thanks, guys. Peace. Look at these posters, by the way. Kind of nice, huh? Adios.